So we've been dreaming for a while about a possible expansion of the Painted Turtle Farm, not to grow more food because we like the intimate nature of having 30 families and just this much to grow, but it's become quite a social space, a place where students like to gather, where obviously the families connected to Casa de la Cultura gather every month for a potluck. So there's lots of gatherings here, but we don't have shade. We don't have a lot of places to sit. And there's other needs. We have cold storage, some teaching elements. So we've thought about coming this way.
To understand the site and the context better, we went to the location and talked to a few people. The needs were pretty straightforward. Some talked about shades.
Definitely from today, I would say shades. The heat is no joke.
Maybe some shade for the hot days. Maybe those trees need to get taller so it gets shadier quickly.
Some talked about community engagement and spreading knowledge.
We always talk about what we need, but we never try to understand about what we already know and how we could work with what we already know. There's never always has to be a plan. It's always about kind of making everyone work together as a team and kind of just setting a ground plan, and kind of using the resources like knowing how to harvest, putting outreach to the people, doing panels, just kind of giving people the knowledge about what's going on in the world.
And some also talked about having a nice vegetation throughout the circulation of the entire space.
I like more flowers. I know those don't really serve a purpose for eating, but I love a flower.
We also took a walk around the farm, understood what sort of vegetables are grown, the collection and also the distribution process afterwards. We could not video document everyone, but some of the other points that came up was having a dedicated kids spot where they can play and mimic their parents, digging the sand for example, and also finding a way to use the weeds collected from the farm and also the solar energy to produce electricity so that the shaded pavilion can run without direct access from the power plant. Taking our side as the yellow zone, from the top view we have few things to consider. On the southwest side we have the beautiful GLC camp and the quarry pond. On the east side we have the Kershaw field, and on the south side we have the west building and the parking lot, which helps us understand potential viewpoints which we cannot block. Our main access point, which has to be kept clear for circulation and parking purposes, and also some point that we have to block for design purposes. Here the electric power station for example. And lastly the cross-country track, which eventually makes the space a sweet spot.
Today it was 90 degrees at 6 o'clock. In July, we come every Monday night. So 6 o'clock, 90 degrees is pretty tough. If you look around the farm, you won't see any shade. There's no places to say, oh, I just need to get out of the sun for a little bit. And certainly we have plenty of families who have young children or families who are retired. And so having that space would be ideal. And just coming out this way so that it's adjoining the farm, not having to walk very far. But also then again could double as classroom space if an ES class, which we host many ES classes out here for field trips, for tours, but that professor could just sit in the shade and talk to his class before we got to work out here.
Before jumping into the design, we brainstormed some ideas and did some sketches. We definitely considered the solid void relationship, the composition from the top view and the elevation angles from each side, and also the circulation of the people when they're moving or using the space. After we got an idea from the sketches and the zoning, we jumped into 3D modeling, where we experimented with two different types of pavilion shades. Let's take a look at the final renders and understand what the differences are. These are the final renderings of the extension. The final design blends curved wood structures with open green space, a natural amphitheater, play zones, and shaded pavilions offer flexibility and flow. It's simple. The design includes two pavilion structures, both made with the same wood system, but one with more cost-effective version for future scalability. A natural amphitheater and fireplace create a welcoming space for talks and community gatherings. Nearby, a stone mill and a wood-fired pizza oven support environmental studies classes, and also cookouts, inviting people to share food and experiences. For example, the potluck events. The main pavilion can host from 50 to 80 people, offering generous shade, cold storage, and also a restroom. Behind it, a crop prep zone allows produce to be washed, dried, and stored efficiently. For children, a sand-filled play zone mirrors the work of their parents in the farm, offering both education and joy. A landscaped labyrinth conceals the electric power stations, featuring the farm's branding at its center. Organized dumpsters, improved farm circulation, and structured parking now make the space even more functional and accessible. We went back to the farm to talk to the families, students, staff members, the active users to have their reflection on the updated design.
It would be good because people will be interested in getting to know this part of the school, specifically the garden.
If you plan to expand, that would be great. Adding more garden beds could bring in more families from the community. It would also create an opportunity for the children to have their own little space to plant, to cultivate, and take care of something themselves, helping them to learn and grow through hands-on experience. You might be wondering at this point, why is it even called Painted Turtle Farm?
The Painted Turtle Farm, the name predates the involvement of the families, but it was from a student who was organizing a senior project here, and they found little baby turtles on the farm, and so that's why it's called the Painted Turtle Farm. But this part of the mural is represented honoring the indigenous history and their creation story, which says that, which calls North America Turtle Island, and that everyone, that all of the land is built on the back of a turtle, and so this shows the corn, beans, and squash growing on the back of a painted turtle, which isn't part of the creation story, but we took liberties there by combining those stories.
Designing the extension was never about building something new. It was about listening to people, to stories, and to the land itself. These moments, these forms invite us to slow down, to gather, to reflect, and to grow together. That's what this project gave me, a chance to design with care and with purpose. My name is Diptiman, and this was my fellowship project for Center for Public Service in summer 2025. Thank you for your patience.